We've all been there. You walk into a room and it just feels tight. The walls seem to be closing in. The furniture feels like it's taking up every last inch of floor space. The air itself feels a little heavy. It's that room in the house that becomes a catch-all for clutter. Or maybe it's a spare bedroom you're not quite sure what to do with. You know the one I'm talking about. It's a space that has so much potential, but right now, it feels more like a challenge than a comfort. You might even close the door and try to forget about it, thinking there's just no hope for a room that small. It's easy to feel stuck when you're facing a space that feels limited and uninspired. I believe every room in a home has a story to tell, and it's our job to help it speak. A small room doesn't have to be a story of being cramped or overlooked. It can be a story of coziness, intention, smart design. Think of it not as a problem to be solved, but as a beautiful puzzle waiting to be put together. The challenge is what makes the final result so rewarding. It's about seeing the possibility within those four walls and understanding that with a little bit of creativity and heart, you can change the entire feeling of a space. I remember working on a project once, a sweet little bungalow that had so much character, but there was this one room, a small study just off the living area, that felt forgotten. The homeowners used it for storage. It was filled to the brim with old boxes, a clunky desk, a bookshelf overflowing with papers and books. The walls were painted a dark, moody gray. The single window was covered by heavy, dark curtains. Peek inside, it felt like a cave. You could barely walk through it. The energy was stagnant. The family had given up on it. My goal was to transform this tiny, cluttered room into a peaceful reading nook, a place to escape with a good book and a cup of tea. First, we took everything out. Everything. A completely blank canvas. Just by emptying it, the space felt a little bigger. The room seemed to take a deep breath. We stood in the empty space, hope in their eyes. They started to see the potential. Then the real transformation began. We painted the walls soft, creamy white. The room immediately felt brighter and more open. We replaced heavy curtains with light, airy linen panels. Natural light poured in. We removed the bulky desk, brought in a comfortable, streamlined armchair with light-colored fabric, added a small, round side table, just big enough for tea and a book. For storage, we installed simple floating shelves high on the wall. They drew the eye upward and kept the floor clear. When it comes to making a small room feel larger, the first and most powerful tool in your toolbox is paint. It's amazing what a simple coat of color can do to transform a space. The general rule of thumb is to stick with light and neutral colors. Think about shades of white, soft creams, light grays, pale blues, pale greens. These colors are reflective. They bounce light around the room, which makes the space feel more open and airy. Dark colors absorb light, which can make walls feel like they are closing in. Choosing a light color doesn't mean your room has to be boring. There are so many beautiful shades of white and beige, each with its own subtle undertone. Some have warm yellow hints that make a room feel sunny and cozy, while others have cool blue undertones that create a more crisp and modern feel. I always recommend getting a few paint samples and painting small swatches on your walls. Live with them. Check them in the morning sun, on a cloudy afternoon, and under your artificial lighting at night. This helps you find the perfect shade. Here's a trick I love. Paint the trim the same color as the walls or a shade lighter. Paint the ceiling the same color as the walls or a shade lighter. With no contrast, your eye doesn't stop at the edges. Walls blend into the ceiling, making it feel higher and the room more expansive. It creates a cohesive, sophisticated look, subtle but impactful. Light is one of the most important ingredients for making any room feel welcoming and spacious. A dark, poorly lit room will always feel smaller than it is. Your first step? Maximize the natural light you have. Don't cover windows with heavy dark curtains or blinds. Instead, choose lightweight, sheer curtains in white or ivory. Sheers give privacy while letting diffused sunlight fill the room. Hang the curtain rod several inches above the window frame. Extend the rod several inches past the frame on both sides. Hang long panels that go all the way to the floor. Hanging the rod higher draws the eye upward, creating the illusion of taller ceilings. Extending wider lets you pull curtains completely off the glass. The result? The window looks larger and grander. Natural light can still fall short in evenings or windowless rooms. That's when artificial lighting matters. Use multiple light sources. Layering light. Ambient lighting, your main overhead light. Task lighting, a reading lamp by a chair. Accent lighting, highlight art or a plant. Avoid large, low-hanging, heavy fixtures in small rooms. Prefer flush mount or semi-flush mount ceiling lights. Recessed lighting is also a great clutter-free option. Then add layers: a slim floor lamp in a corner and a small table lamp on a side table or shelf. Lights at different heights illuminate corners and make the space feel bright, warm, and inviting. This is one of the oldest tricks in the book, and for good reason. It works every single time. Mirrors are like magic when it comes to making a small room feel larger. They do two wonderful things. First, they reflect light. Placing a mirror opposite a window is a brilliant move because it captures natural sunlight and bounces it back into the room. It's almost like adding a second window. Even without a window, a mirror reflects artificial lighting and brightens dark corners. The second thing mirrors do is create an illusion of depth. A large mirror reflects the room back at you, tricking your eye into thinking the space continues on. It pushes the walls back visually and makes the room feel deeper. For the most dramatic effect, go for a large mirror. A big, floor-length mirror leaned against a wall can have a huge impact. Consider hanging a large, wide mirror above a sofa, or hang one above a console table. Don't be afraid to go big. A collection of small mirrors can feel cluttered, but one large statement mirror feels intentional and expansive. Placement is key. Opposite a window maximizes light. On a long wall in a narrow room visually widens the space. Place a mirror behind a light source, like a table lamp. When the lamp is on, the reflected light is amplified into a warm glow. Think about what you want the mirror to reflect: the view out a window, a lovely piece of art, or a well-lit part of the room. In a small room, every single piece of furniture counts. This is where you need to be really thoughtful and intentional. The biggest mistake I see people make is trying to cram too much furniture, or furniture that is too large, into a small space. This instantly makes a room feel crowded and difficult to navigate. The key is to choose furniture that is the right scale for the room. Before you buy anything, measure your space carefully. Know the dimensions of your room, and then look for pieces that will fit comfortably with plenty of room to walk around them. Look for furniture with a lightweight and airy feel. Pieces that have legs, for example, are a fantastic choice for small rooms. A sofa, armchair, a console table that is raised up off the floor allows you to see the floor underneath it. This creates a sense of openness because your eye can travel further. In contrast, heavy, skirted furniture that goes all the way to the ground can feel like a solid block, visually chopping up the floor space and making the room feel smaller. Transparent furniture, like an acrylic coffee table. Ghost chairs is another brilliant option because it takes up almost no visual space at all. Multifunctional furniture is your best friend in a small room. Look for pieces that can do double or even triple duty. An ottoman with hidden storage can serve as a footrest, extra seating, a place to stash blankets or magazines. A coffee table that can be raised to become a dining table is a wonderful solution for a small studio apartment. A fantastic way to make a room feel bigger is to trick the eye into thinking the ceilings are higher than they are. When we draw attention upward, we create a sense of vertical space, which makes the whole room feel more grand and open. There are several simple ways to do this. One of my favorite methods is with window treatments. Hanging your curtains high is a simple change that has a massive impact, and hanging them wide, beyond the window frame, also helps. The long lines of the fabric draw your eye from the floor all the way up to the ceiling. Another wonderful way to use your vertical space is with shelving. Instead of a wide, short bookcase that eats floor space, opt for tall, narrow shelving units. Think leaning or ladder shelves, perfect for small rooms. They provide plenty of storage for books and for decor, all while keeping a very small footprint on the floor. The tall, vertical lines naturally draw your eye upward. Floating shelves are another great option. Install a series of them going up a wall. Use them to display photos or plants and other treasures. Think about the art you choose and how you hang it. Instead of one single, large piece of horizontal art, consider creating a gallery wall with a vertical orientation. Arrange a collection of smaller frames in a column that stretches up the wall. This will guide the eye upward. This might be the most important tip of all, and it's one that doesn't cost a single penny. A cluttered room will always feel small. It doesn't matter how perfectly you've chosen your paint color or your furniture. If your space is filled with stuff, it will feel cramped and chaotic. The first step to creating a spacious feeling room is to declutter. This means taking a good, honest look at everything in the room and asking yourself, do I love this? Do I need this? Does this have a purpose or bring me joy? If the answer is no, it's time to let it go. Start small so you don't get overwhelmed. Pick one area, like a bookshelf or a side table, and clear everything off of it. Clean the surface. And then only put back the items that are either beautiful or useful. Think like a decorator. Instead of putting back a huge stack of old magazines, choose one or two of your favorites. Instead of crowding a shelf with dozens of little knickknacks, select 3 special items of varying heights. Give your items space to breathe. This negative space is just as important as the objects themselves. It gives your eyes a place to rest. Once you've decluttered, the secret to keeping your room feeling spacious is smart storage. We've walked through so many simple ideas together, from the transformative power of a can of paint to the magic of a well-placed mirror. Choosing smart furniture that works hard for you, the importance of drawing the eye upward. We've seen how letting in the light and clearing out the clutter can completely change the energy of a space. Each of these tricks is a simple tool that you can use, but when you put them all together, they can create a truly remarkable transformation. It's about more than just making a room look bigger. It's about making it feel better. I want you to look at that small room in your house, not as a frustration, but as an opportunity. It's a canvas, waiting for you to add your personal touch. Start with one thing. Maybe this weekend you'll hang a mirror, or maybe you'll swap out those heavy curtains for something light and airy. You don't have to do everything at once. Small, intentional changes can add up to make a huge difference over time. The most important part of this process is that you have fun with it and create a space that feels like you. It's your home, and it should be a place that serves you and your family well. Remember the story of that little study that went from a cluttered cave to a peaceful reading nook? That wasn't about spending a lot of money or knocking down walls. It was about seeing the potential and making thoughtful choices. That same potential exists within your own home. You have the power to create a space that feels open, inviting, and full of life. I can't wait to see what you create.